Premier Doug Ford used his new government's majority muscle Tuesday to push through a controversial bill cutting the size of Toronto City Council in half with municipal elections just 10 weeks away, a move NDP leader Andrea Horwath called a blatant abuse of power. The legislation, named the Better Local Government Act, also scraps planned October 22 elections for regional chairs in Peel, York, Niagara and Muskoka as it enlarges Toronto's wards to match federal and provincial riding boundaries. We have 25 MPs, 25 MPPs and we are going to have 25 councillors. Premier Doug Ford said. Chris Young, The Canadian Press, we have 25 MPs, 25 MPPs and we are going to have 25 councillors, Ford said in the legislature, which adjourned until Sept. 24 after a rare summer sitting that followed the Progressive Conservatives' June election victory. The people want smaller government. They want a city of Toronto that is functional, a city of Toronto that can build transit, he added, insisting that having too many councillors has made debate on issues lengthy and cumbersome. Read more. Article continued below. Court date set in fight against Premier Doug Ford's slashing of Toronto City Council opinion. Should Doug Ford cut Toronto City Council in half? Showed the Tories' move to shrink Toronto Council could be turned on its head. Horwath and other critics of the bill said it flouts local democracy, and noted Ford, who lost the Toronto mayoralty to John Tory in 2014, did not specifically campaign on the changes. Now he pretends like he was talking about it all along. This is by definition a hidden agenda, she thundered in the legislature during heated final debate, charging the premier is drunk on power. The bill, introduced suddenly 2 weeks ago when the legislature was first expected to rise for a summer break, will leave an ugly mark that will haunt the Progressive Conservatives for years, Horwath said. The premier just can't rip up the election rulebook, she added, noting Ford was a city councillor from 2010 to 2014 while his late brother, Rob, was mayor during a chaotic term. Article continued below. It's about an insecure and vindictive premier looking to settle scores and control local democracy, she said. At least one legal challenge to the legislation is being mounted. A Superior Court judge ordered on Tuesday that Rocco Achampong, a lawyer and council candidate, present his case against the act on August 31. The City of Toronto is now considering whether it, too, will present arguments to the court on that day. The legislation does not target any city council other than Toronto's. The city was expecting to have 47 councillors following the election in 2 months, up from 44 currently, in addition to the mayor. Ford has said his streamlining will save Toronto taxpayers $25 million over 4 years. Municipal Affairs Minister Steve Clark, a former mayor of Brockville, which has 8 city councillors for a population of about 30,000, said the Progressive Conservatives campaigned on reducing the size and cost of government. The problem with big government is that it only works for the politicians. The 47-ward system the NDP defends is wrong. It costs more and creates more dysfunction, he told MPPs, citing endless debate. We refuse to let democracy take a backseat to keep a bunch of incumbent councillors on the payroll. Liberal MPP Mitzi Hunter, Scarborough Guildwood, said the legislation is absolutely just unconscionable, given that Ford is promising consultations with parents on a new sexual education curriculum but not with Toronto voters on the size of City Council. It is a sad day, she added. They're cutting debate short. The bill was not sent to a legislative committee of MPPs for further study, as is common with major legislation. The government has no plans to cut the number of MPPs at the legislature, which now has 124 members, up from 107 before the June 7 election after 17 new ridings were added. Clark said the changes will also make it easier for voters to know who their councillor is. Although councillors have complained, the workloads of their offices will increase dramatically as they scramble to meet the needs of constituents looking for help with problems in larger wards. Cancelling the regional chair elections in York, Peel, Niagara and Muskoka will not save any money because those posts will be filled with councillors selected by their peers. The defeated Liberal government passed a bill in 2016 to set up the regional chair elections, but, as revealed by The Star, the votes in Niagara, York and Muskoka appear to be collateral damage because Ford sought to cancel the vote in Peel. That's where his predecessor as PC leader, Patrick Brown, planned to run for chair. Brown is now seeking to unseat Brampton Mayor Linda Jeffrey. Former Liberal cabinet minister Stephen Del Duca was running for regional chair in York until the changes were announced in late July. Rob Ferguson is a Toronto-based reporter covering Ontario politics. Follow him on Twitter, @RobFerguson1.